And the presidents of the day, they absolutely recognized what homeopathy represented for the people. They used a lot of homeopathy along, we call them like the elite. Rockefeller had 3 private homeopaths. The British royal family have been treated by homeopaths for the last 6 generations. Apparently, Queen Elizabeth II says her hay fever was cured by allium cepa, which is a homeopathic remedy made from red onion. And she wouldn't travel without a homeopathic first aid kit. So to me, it's like if it is good enough for these people, they have no interest in hiding it from the rest of us. And it's our, mission to get that back into the hands of the everyday people. Another aspect of all of the centers that we plan to open is something that was sort of modeled off Samuel Hahnemann's day and his wife, Melanie Hahnemann. So they would provide treatment. So they actually retired in Paris in the end, and they were treating a lot of the upper society, people who would afford to pay and invest in these consults. But they would always open, to the general public and the poor in the afternoon for those who can't afford it. And it would be very much hustle and bustle. And I've had the privilege of working in a few different homeopathic settings where it's hustle and bustle, like quick, and it's such a fun vibe. And it's such an inexpensive medicine that just with a couple of volunteer hours a week, we can change lives of those people who can't afford it. And I like to acknowledge that because these days, some people are really pressed against a wall financially. It is tough, times. And so until you can get back, on your feet and well, I do think that we should be working to support everybody. It's when, as a human collective, we all rise, really, it makes the whole world better. And this is why, originally when I was talking to my husband, I said, look, I think you should quit your very good paying, stable, secure job so that I can wing it with this homeopathy gig. It's that if we don't completely change like the way these generations are coming up, if we allow them to receive um, injections nonstop from birth, we are in such a crisis point. Like, I worked in fertility, I understand the decline in sperm health, what that writing on the wall is for us if we don't take matters into our own hands. And I think in a way they don't really even care about that because their transhuman kind of agendas it would be fine if we were infertile. But for me, the horrors of that and the grief and the pain I've seen couples walk through who desperately want a family, I think it's our duty to protect people. And it's a human right, I think, to understand how the body, how the spirit, how the mind actually operates. And none of us were equipped. We were actually indoctrinated to believe the opposite. And so, yeah, that's where our mission really kicks off.
For the viewers out there, if you're listening to Mel and all the things that she's doing, you wouldn't believe it, but she actually sat down and wrote one of the best books I've written in a long time. Moving, beautiful, joyous, informative, deep. It's called Humans of Homeopathy. And Mel, you send me a copy. It's now becoming available. It's one of the few books in recent times I've read almost cover to cover. It's such a beautiful, like, in the photography and most of all, not a hint of AI in it. I know you sat down and actually wrote the book, and I can
Mhm.
feel the humanness in it. It's a beautiful, wonderful work that I hope is going to land on everybody's shelves as like a standard. And you really go through your personal history with homeopathy cases, and you tell the stories, and you show the hardships, and then you show the beautiful recoveries and the lives that were changed. How was it for you to kind of step back a little bit and write that book?
It's so funny. I did it quite quickly. It was actually after a trip to the US. I definitely punched out a lot of chapters on the plane. I was alone and I was listening and and I felt like emotional typing it. And it is in the way that I was trying to bring it forward with stories. I think it is in people hearing other people's stories that we see ourselves in that, right? And I wanted it to be showing, the roots of where some of these things come from, the struggles that it can be, because with homeopathy, in some cases, look, it is like you take the drops under the tongue and then a lot of people's issues can just sort of resolve. It is alchemy. Homeopathy is an alchemical process in the highest order. And when you go back to Samuel Hahnemann, the medical doctor who founded it, he was a brilliant mind. He knew 11 different languages, or more than, I believe. And so he could translate these medical texts, but having worked in the largest esoteric library in Romania under Baron von Bruckenfell, he is reading the alchemical works of Dr. Isaac Newton, Boyle, like he was really exposed to it. So when we're talking alchemy, it is transmuting that energy right out of the field. So it completely changes people. But the process, it can be really, really rough. I saw this reel on Instagram that I loved, and it was like, it was a movie scene and it was like an exorcism. And the thing was, when the exorcist is busy, so you call in the homeopath. And it is true. Like when you see
I like
some of these deep rooted ancestral things being torn out, and, it also brings into question the idea of, spiritual. It depends on people's beliefs, but I have had situations, whether it is cases of bipolar or in children who seem to be very spiritually attacked, if you will, night terrors, some compulsive self-harming, or things where they wake up in the night and are just screaming and they're not really there, or people who can even see spirits and are having this sort of, influence in their life. There are homeopathic remedies, and I believe it's that we have fortified and we have protected the field, because these children, when you think to yourself, could it possibly be a placebo element? But when they're taking it, a lot of these kids that we're working with, they're 2, 3, 4 years old. They have no idea about what they're taking under the tongue. The parents often won't even tell them, and they say they're sleeping soundly. Wow, their behavior has completely changed, while they're not banging their head against the door until they bleed anymore. And so I also think it is an important aspect for spiritual protection in this world. Some people truly are very susceptible to being thrown around by that. And not surprisingly, that group of people is also very prone to addictions like alcoholism, drug use. And they're often very empathetic. They're good people, but in order to cope in this world, that's sort of the adaptations that they've had. Um, so yeah, there's that aspect as well. I forget what I was saying before that.
you were talking about the
Oh,
book, the process of
oh
writing
yeah.
the book.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. And so, yeah, I loved putting that out there. I've tried to cover a few different aspects. So, like a fertility case that was memorable, a young boy who was really vaccine injured, a flu vaccine, and how he couldn't walk, and then through homeopathy was healed. Jean, you would have been probably the first outsider from not in my team who received and read the book. So I'm so honored that you did love it.
I
Um,
loved it, and before I got the book, I got the PDF, and let me just tell you, I was sitting outside on our porch at night, and I was, I had it on the phone, and I was, like, pushing it back and forth so I could read the whole thing, and I was just mesmerized by the storytelling. It's beautiful storytelling, it's inspiring, it moved me, it reminded me of the beauty of it, of the magic, of homeopathy, and I've been sort of exposed to it since childhood on and off, and just, something that I like I say, I hope it's gonna land on everybody's shelf and they're gonna pick it up, read a chapter, get inspired, because it's homeopathy is meant to be used. It's meant to be a
mm,
part of your life. It's not something that you just, every now and then look at, but it's part of your like,
mm.
you have
Kits.
these
Mm,
these kids that are like, the starter or the first aid kids, and it's easier than people think, you it comes with such a booklet, and then people can read about and find their symptoms, it doesn't necessarily replace, you know, having an actual session with a homeopath when you have to go deeper, but it can be a really great first aid if you have symptoms, if you're struggling with something, if you have aches. I've seen it work so many times so beautifully. We've always had kids for our kids when they were younger. We didn't use any allopathic medicine with them.
Mm.
And and it's just, once it becomes part of your life, like you say, it's hard to go back to other
Mm.
modalities. But when is the book becoming officially available for those who are not lucky enough, like me, to read it beforehand?
So it is coming out on Tuesday, which I believe is the 14th, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, that will be, and we'll ship it worldwide. Anyone who wants to experience that. And I think a lot of people have heard of homeopathy and maybe they do have the kits and they know about it in that acute sense. But where a lot of people, come to us or they do one of our courses, we have a short course too, Jean, which I will send you the link to, and it is free. People just pop in that homeopath at checkout. And this course is 6 modules where people can learn, and it's me talking through, let's say, the remedy ignatia. Like, yes, it's a first aid remedy in the kit. It's for like grief. If you go through some sort of shocking grief, and it actually helps you to sort of integrate and move the energy around, because you'll have a lot of kids when parents will move houses, right? And they have to say goodbye to all their old friends, and the kids like lose their appetite or they're not sleeping right. This is the energy of grief that can get distorted. So we walk through that, but then we also have Dr. Isaac Golden, who he did his PhD at Swinburne University on using homeopathy to prevent infectious disease. So that is, the homeopathic equivalent. And then he also does vaccine detox. And so he is very, very popular. And you can imagine how busy he is. I think he would like to retire, but his work is it's just huge. Then you've got Sarah Valentini, who does the complex pediatric cases. So ADHD, ASD, PANS, PANDAS, these are a growing issue amongst our children, our grandchildren, that we want to be really aware of. Things like mold clearing, candida, that's all covered. And then we do the men's and women's remedies. That's probably my favorite. I think it's where most people are like, whoa, because they're like, oh my gosh, that's totally my husband. He's such an impatient jerk in the morning when he gets up, da da da. And it's like, you can really see it. And like that learning is so beautiful. So if anybody is listening to this and they are just like, man, I want to know more, I want to learn some of this for my home, I'll send you those links, John. And guys, yeah, have at it, and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, it's the stories, and it's realizing that we are human beings, and it is okay to struggle. And it is okay, whatever coping mechanisms we have used, whatever we have inherited down our family lines, but it's just knowing you don't need to be stuck there. And homeopathy just cracks that door open so that you can just see that glimpse of like how you want it to be, and then you keep that alchemical process going, and it won't be long. You will arrive. And the freedom and the joy of your spirit is like, that's one thing. But I also believe that it really does help connect people like to our creator, and it helps them fulfill their life's purpose. And it's something that Samuel Hahnemann spoke about. And I think I put the proper quote in the book. And it's that health, it's not just the absence of disease. Like when you are in a true state of health and vitality, it should be such that you can fulfill your life's purpose. And there are lots of people out there, and yeah, they might not have, crippling anxiety, and they might not have these physical pathologies, but they've surrendered to just letting life rather than what they truly came here for, whether that is that they're going to be a musician or they're going to work in comedy, whatever it is. So it's that, I think, is what we should aim for, that our vessel be able to help us fulfill our life's purpose.
I love that, and it hits so close to home because by the year 2028, Mel, we'll have the first homeopath in our family officially. You inspired our daughter Kiara, who's she followed her mom's in her mom's footsteps, and went specifically more into deep trauma healing over the last years and has done multiple educations on that. And you inspired her so greatly to learn homeopathy, and you invite her into the academy. So she's going to join you this fall, and is so excited. And we're so excited for her to have this path as well, and add it and combine it with the other things that she's learned and done. And we'll be blessed to have a homeopath in the family. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, I love it. And I can't wait, yes, to catch up with her because, yeah, around that area, Franklin, Nashville, that has been definitely calling us when we've come over there and we're trying to feel into where do we set up and just show America what's possible before we do this mass expansion. And I guess just to, speak out, it's like, a lot of people are looking around the world, they're looking at this pharma stronghold, the way that they manipulate, the way that they influence all of these other systems by buying them out. What we need to do, guys, is just Robin Hood all of those trillions and feed it back into all of these human centered initiatives. Look after our regen farmers. Medicine is one area, but the knock on effects of what we are going to create when we starve that corrupt system and we allow it to serve its purpose where it will be, emergency medicine when you need it. But for the rest, guys, we really got to take matters into our own hands, I think. And I'm so excited. I really think that we've got it. And the more people who get that vibrational alignment, there will be rockets firing off everywhere.
I have no doubt. Tell me, it's 2036, Mel. 10 years from now, what does the world look like from your point of view in 2036? What has changed?
I would like to see a hub, like a remedy hub in pretty much everywhere that you see a McDonald's. We'll just knock those down and build a remedy hub. Now, in those, you've got access to homeopaths. So they are like the family physician, they're caring and loving. I believe that the future is local. I would like to see it get back to much more communities that look after each other, where you really know your neighbor and you're connected, because no homeopathy in the world and no nutrition in the world can overcome a lack of connection with other human beings. So, really fostering those sort of loving community relationships. Um, and yeah, all of us getting back to a slower pace of life. It'll be much more conducive with how humans were actually meant to live. And yeah, so alternative schooling to me flows into that as well. At the moment, there are a lot of people who would love to, say, homeschool their kids, but they don't feel equipped and the systems aren't there to sort of support it. So with these hubs, I would see them sort of as safe havens. And if we have as many as I desire to have, I believe that when certain things, ever try and come up, for example, data centers at the moment being erected left, right, and center, you need these places where people can get organized, where they can gather and a real resistance can actually form. So by 2036, I'm hoping that we're already over that hill and humanity, has sort of freed itself from the slavery that we currently find ourselves in. So that's really how I see it happening. Whether we have supernatural help in getting this done, I don't know, or whether the humans, we're tapping into that divinity within us. And it's through our imagination, it's through our creative processes that we come together. But it definitely, for me, it's a team effort that we are going to overcome. Grassroots, I love, and yeah, local systems, but all human centered.
Your environment shapes everything: your thoughts, your health, your energy. But most people never question the invisible field they live in. We did, and that's when FLFE found us. It's not a product, it's a field of pure life force energy that lifts everything it touches. We now live in it 24/7, and we would love to invite you to experience it too. Start your free 15-day trial now. No pressure, no strings attached. Just the truth, resonance, and peace.